Stanley the Super Kid, a Krakow Adventure. Stanley bounced on the balls of his feet, his excitement barely contained. Today was the day. He, a sprightly fourth grader from Warsaw, was finally going to Krakow with his parents. And not just any trip, a trip by plane. "Are you sure you packed everything, Stanley?" his mom called from the hallway. "Airplane book, check. Chessboard, check. Judo uniform, oh no!" Stanley rummaged through his suitcase, panic rising. "Mom, I forgot my judo uniform." His mom appeared in the doorway, a knowing smile playing on her lips. "Relax, champ. You're on vacation to play chess and see Krakow, not wrestle anyone." Despite her words, she winked and pulled a neatly folded uniform from behind her back. Stanley grinned. His mom might be a lawyer, but she secretly understood his love for judo almost as much as his love for planes. His little brother James, however, wasn't quite as enthusiastic. "You get to fly on a plane and I get stuck with Grandma and Grandpa?" James pouted, his chubby cheeks puffing out. "Hey," Stanley ruffled James's hair, "think of all the delicious cookies Grandma bakes, and you don't have to share the window seat with me." The flight to Krakow was magical. Stanley pressed his face against the tiny window, marveling at the world shrinking below. Tiny houses looked like doll houses, cars like ants crawling on a green carpet, and fluffy white clouds transformed into giant pillows. "Look, Mom," he exclaimed, pointing. "There's the Vistula River." His mom leaned over, a warm smile on her face. "That's right, honey. Krakow is just around the corner." Krakow captivates. In Krakow, the cobbled streets of the old town whispered stories of the past. Stanley and his parents wandered through the bustling marketplace, the air thick with the aroma of freshly baked bread and sweet pastries. Stanley was mesmerized by the colorful stalls overflowing with amber jewelry, hand-painted pottery, and intricate wooden carvings. Suddenly, a group of elderly gentlemen gathered around a small table outside a cafe caught Stanley's eye. They were engrossed in a chess game, their faces etched with concentration. One man in particular seemed distressed. "Checkmate in 2 moves," Stanley whispered to his dad. His dad chuckled. "Don't worry, Stanley. I doubt these gentlemen appreciate backseat drivers." But Stanley couldn't help himself. He tiptoed over to the table, his heart pounding in his chest. "Excuse me, sir," he addressed the worried-looking man. "Can I offer a suggestion?" The old man, Mr. Nowak, looked surprised. "Of course, young man. What do you think?" Stanley pointed at the chessboard, outlining a series of moves. Mr. Nowak's eyes widened. "Brilliant!" he exclaimed, his face lighting up with relief. "That's the winning move." With Stanley's help, Mr. Nowak managed to turn the game around, leaving his opponent speechless. The other gentlemen at the table gathered around, impressed by the young chess prodigy. "Thank you, young man," Mr. Nowak said, shaking Stanley's hand firmly. "You've saved me from a terrible defeat." News of Stanley's chess skills spread quickly. Soon, he found himself facing off against some of the best players in the city, including the renowned Krakow chess master. And to everyone's surprise, Stanley emerged victorious in every match. The marketplace echoed with cheers as the crowd witnessed his remarkable talent. A nightmare at Wawel. The trip to Krakow, which had started as a dream vacation, took a chilling turn when Stanley and his parents visited the majestic Wawel Royal Castle. As they explored the opulent halls, a group of armed men stormed in, their faces masked, weapons pointed at the startled crowd. "Everyone on the ground," one of the men shouted, his voice laced with menace. Terror gripped Stanley's heart. This was no movie scene. This was real. He huddled close to his parents, fear threatening to paralyze him. But amidst the chaos, Stanley noticed something remarkable. His mom, usually calm and collected, seemed unfazed. Her eyes narrowed, and a steely determination etched itself on her face. In a swift movement, she disarmed the closest terrorist with a well-placed kick, her years of practicing martial arts finally coming into play. His dad, a retired soldier with nerves of steel, sprang into action. He lunged at another terrorist, using his military training to overpower him. Stanley watched in disbelief as his seemingly ordinary parents transformed into fearless warriors. "Stanley, stay hidden under the bench," his mom shouted, her voice fierce. Stanley froze. Disobeying his mom was unthinkable, but fear kept him rooted to the spot. He watched as the remaining terrorist, a burly man with a cruel glint in his eyes, grabbed a young woman and held a gun to her head. Panic surged through Stanley. He couldn't just stay there, he had to do something. Glancing around, his eyes landed on a fallen chessboard from a nearby table. Inspiration struck, remembering his judo master's words, "Surprise is your greatest weapon." Stanley grabbed a discarded knight chess piece, its sharp tip glinting in the dim light. With a silent prayer, he lunged forward, aiming for the terrorist's leg. The man, taken aback by the sudden movement, let out a yelp of pain as the knight piece pricked his ankle. In that split second of distraction, Stanley's dad lunged, tackling the terrorist to the ground. A fierce struggle ensued, the sounds of grunts and thuds echoing through the vast hall. Stanley, his heart pounding in his chest, scrambled out from under the bench and rushed to his mom's side. Together, they helped subdue the remaining terrorist, his mum using her martial arts expertise to secure his arms, while Stanley held onto his legs with all his might. The battle was won, but the tension remained thick in the air. Relief washed over Stanley as he saw the hostages, shaken but unharmed, emerging from their hiding places. Suddenly, a loud bang resonated through the hall. A team of SWAT officers, alerted by the commotion, had stormed the castle. The situation was quickly brought under control, the remaining terrorists apprehended. Heroes of Krakow. With the ordeal over, Stanley collapsed into his mom's arms, tears streaming down his face. His brave parents hugged him tightly, their faces etched with relief and pride. They had faced unimaginable danger and emerged victorious, with their son playing a crucial role. News of the heroic family spread like wildfire. Reporters flocked to the hospital where the injured hostages were being treated, eager to hear their stories. Stanley, initially shy, soon found himself recounting the dramatic events with surprising composure. "It wasn't just me," he insisted, the cameras flashing in his face. "My mum and dad were amazing, they were so brave." His parents, however, deflected the praise, showering him with compliments on his quick thinking and courage. The story of the chess prodigy who saved the day became a national sensation. Stanley and his parents were invited to appear on talk shows, showered with gifts, and even received a personal letter of gratitude from the president himself. Stanley the Super Kid, a Krakow Adventure.